my painting is really a mixture of photography, design and painting, so it's an interesting technique which is unusual and not that commonly used as far as I've seen. To start with, I generate most of my ideas photographically, and then I start composing and manipulating those on the computer using Photoshop and essentially design skills. It's the fundamentals of composition. How I start is with photographs, and it's not just one or two, it's hundreds, thousands. I manipulate them into Photoshop and strengthen them by playing with the contrast, and as you can see, the relationship between these two, I was trying to get that sort of canyon-like feel that you get in New York where there's almost no sky, but in comparison there's a little bit more sky, but you still get that point of long distance and perspective looking down a street. Cuba Street, it's got that kind of youthful vibe and energy, and so part of it is that that emotion you get from a certain urban location. The other part of it was collecting little bits of material that for me made a statement about the location and the way that you lived in that environment. Like what you think of iconically as New York is the symbol I love New York, and actually how that translates, and that's incorporated in taxi receipts. So using parts of those found objects to make more statements about the actual location. And then in comparison, Wellington, you drive everywhere, and parking seems to be a big part of your life, and so it's more about the parking receipts. And then the other thing that I worked with is typographic quotes that I'd researched, and these quotes really depicted emotions about the place. Essentially treating it as a collage. I want the roughness and the texture and the accidental nature that isn't part of my design life. Just going with how I feel and responding, and then I guess analysing it in the same way I would a design, as a design piece. So it's mixing between these three areas really at all times. What do you think is the strongest element, and link it? So, maybe the strongest element about this could be softness, or it could be the colour, or it could be that it's sort of vertical lines. So you can intellectualise the content of them, or you can look at purely the form. I could see these as a group because you've got the linear and you've got the type, the black and white, and they really wanted to know how I'd got to where I was today. So in essence, it's kind of like a visual CV. They wanted to know, how did I end up being an artist? What did I do at school? Where did I study? How had I found jobs? How had I had the opportunity to work in a place like London or a place like New York? So for them, it was like hearing the essential tangibles of that story. I always remember my careers evening at school, and there was one person that has actually stayed in my life as a mentor, and his inspiration, at the age of 16, has really had a dramatic effect on my life, even to this day. So hopefully, some of what I have passed on to the girls will affect, the outcome of where they are tomorrow.